Now, KCAU 9 News starts with your forecast first.
Well, Siouxland looking overcast as we take a look out from the KCAU 9 studio camera, and we've been a little breezy with some occasional 20 and 25 mile per hour gusts, but we're going to get even windier for the day tomorrow as temperatures sadly won't be as high. Right now we're seeing a drop from the upper 50s and 60s that we saw more to mid 50s. I'll be letting you know how we stay a little insulated tonight and how we're expecting winter weather tomorrow. KCAU 9 News starts right now.
We are Siouxland proud. This is KCAU 9 News at 6.
And thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Tim Seaman. In less than 24 hours, products coming from Mexico and Canada could be costing consumers more. President Trump says 25% tariffs on those two countries will officially go into effect tomorrow. Details on what it means in our top story tonight at 6. The president making the announcement at a press conference at the White House earlier today. The president adding that there's no room for Canada and Mexico to make a deal before midnight. It all comes after the president first delayed the tariffs back in February for 1 month. That after having discussions with leaders from both of those countries and where they agreed to address the drug flow at their respective border. The president has announced reciprocal tariffs will begin on April 2nd. That will cover imports from all the nations that levy import taxes onto goods from the United States. President Trump is suggesting that the 10% tariffs on China could increase to 20%. Meanwhile, Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley has joined a virtual town hall meeting earlier this morning hosted by the Iowa Farmers Union. Some of the topics discussed included the impact of those tariffs, as well as federal funding and staff cuts at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Senator Grassley also talking about the importance of free trade in the U.S., especially here in Iowa.
I'm very disconcerted because for most of my life in the United States Senate, I've been a free trader and a fair trader, and I've always been in a majority of both Republicans and Democrats that tended to be for free trade. And now I'm in a minority.
Senator Grassley says that agriculture produces about a third more than we consume domestically and have to export, which is, he says, is a big aspect of profit building and farming. The trial of a Cherokee, Iowa man accused of killing his 4-month-old son will be moved out of Cherokee County. Court documents indicate a judge has granted a change of venue request for 24-year-old Luis Contreras de Siga. The possible new locations for that trial do include Woodbury County as well as Kossuth, also the Des Moines or Council Bluffs areas. Now, Contreras de Siga has waived his right to a speedy trial. His defense counsel saying that they will file a motion to continue an April 1st trial date. Contreras de Siga pleaded not guilty to first-degree murder of that infant. According to court documents, the infant became unresponsible in May of last year after Contreras de Siga allegedly shook his son while asking him what he needed. An update tonight on the case of a Council Bluffs woman killed in a car accident involving a vehicle driven by an undocumented immigrant. Authorities in Honduras have now arrested that suspect. 28-year-old Eswin Mejia charged with motor vehicle homicide by DUI in Douglas County, Nebraska. Back in 2016, 21-year-old Sarah Root was fatally injured in the incident when Mejia rear-ended her car while she was waiting at a red light. Mejia was allegedly drag racing and drunk when that crash happened. He went on to post $5,000 bond and then failed to appear in court the following month. Iowa Senator Joni Ernst has released a statement on X about today's news, in part saying, for 9 years, the illegal immigrant who killed Sarah Root was never held accountable. Thanks to President Trump's leadership and work with the Honduras government, Edwin Mejia has been arrested. Take a quick break now and talk about another developing story. That's in the weather department, though, where there's snow on the forefront. Chief Meteorologist Victor Perez has the details.
Hard to think about snow, Tim, with the warm weather that we've been seeing in the region, with most of Siouxland rising up into 50s and some 60s. Sorry there, correcting the slides, as we see daytime highs rose all the way to 60 degrees for central portions of the viewing area, especially close to I-29. But we see that tomorrow there's not only winter weather advisories, but also winter storm watches and even a blizzard warning out to our south, as we could be seeing extremely strong gusts and snow totals over an inch in some spots. So something to keep an eye on, especially for your Tuesday evening into Wednesday. Tim?
All right, we'll check back for the full forecast here in just a little bit. Elsewhere tonight, a South Dakota Senate committee is advancing a bill that would ban the use of eminent domain for CO2 pipelines in the state. Now, the Senate State Affairs Committee, on a 7-2 vote, has moved that measure onto the Senate floor for debate. Under the legislation, a person or company would not be able to exercise the right of eminent domain to acquire right-of-way for construction or operation of a pipeline for the purpose of transporting carbon dioxide. That measure already has passed the South Dakota House, and if passed by the state Senate, Governor Larry Roden's signature would make it law. Well, garbage rates are a step closer to going up here in Sioux City. Council members today approving a second reading of an ordinance that increases those rates, with Gill hauling roughly about 50 cents. The vote was 4-0 today, with a third reading still pending. Now, the proposed hike follows Gill's agreement with the city, with a 95-gallon tote going up to $18.38. That's a 53-cent increase over the current rate. A 65-gallon tote, meanwhile, goes up 50 cents. The extra container fee gets a smaller increase, just 13 cents, and the solid waste sticker is set to stay at $1.50. We'll take a closer look at today's Sioux City Council meeting. That's coming up tonight at 10. Well, a father whose son gave the gift of life for 5 people is now sharing the importance of organ donation. The Rotary Club of Sioux City welcoming John Jorgensen from the Iowa Donor Network today. His son died in 2007 at the age of 18. According to the Donor Network website, every 8 minutes a new person is added to the National Organ Transplant waiting list. Jorgensen says that he's hoping that the number of people on that list goes down as folks begin to understand the importance of organ donation.
It's important for people to donate so that we can help that list shrink down, so people waiting on a list aren't dying because they wait. The one statistic showed 17 people die each day waiting for that. I think it'd be great if that number was 0.
If you'd like more information about organ donation and how you can register, we have that information for you. Just check our website. It's all at SiouxlandProud.com. Well, an Iowa elementary school is hoping to show others the kind of impact that therapy animals can have with students. The new classmate is lending a paw to students at Oskaloosa Elementary School. Therapy dog David will be living with school counselor Samantha Dahl and her family, which already includes 2 other dogs. These photos show David visiting Oskaloosa just last week, and some students even made him some fan mail.
It goes to show how powerful a dog can be in a school setting, when a kid that maybe was just walking down the hall is now smiling and beaming because they saw a dog.
Again, that was just last week. Good scene, and something that we're continuing to see here in Siouxland as well, in many different businesses as well as schools.